Hey guys, Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
yes, and today we're going to talk about the newly released trailer for HBO's The Last of Us, which obviously we all know is based on the video game by Naughty Dog, and Neil Druckmann is kind of the main driving force behind that. We know Craig Mazin, who did HBO's Chernobyl. Is also, I think he's show running this and producing this as well. We saw like what was like maybe a 30-second teaser trailer maybe a couple months ago or 2 or 3 months ago. I can't remember exactly when they were. I don't think it was that long ago.
It was a long time ago, man.
Okay.
There's like the 30-second one. I want to say it was almost like in the beginning of the year. Like it was a long time ago.
So now we have our first kind of full trailer, and so we want to kind of give our review and reaction of it as people who've played the game. You didn't finish the second game, right?
I have not finished the second game,
okay,
but I did.
But everything in this, everything in this trailer is all from the first game, you know.
Exactly,
and I imagine that they will hopefully, you know, if they plan on the series being longer than 1 season or 2 seasons, is that the first game is going to be about 2 to 3 seasons. I would guess 2 seasons maybe.
And just a heads up, by the way, the Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, they're the executive producers. It seems like there's multiple directors, like there's directors for different episodes and stuff.
Yeah. And Neil Druckmann, the creator director of the original game, and Craig Mazin, like I mentioned, he had done HBO's Chernobyl. Trailer look good. They used the Hank Williams song. What was that called? Alone and Forsaken. That was actually from the game. It wasn't, obviously it's not the theme song. I'd like to see a trailer. Maybe they will do one because the release date is 2023. So it didn't give an actual date, just said 2023. So it's going to be a while. So we'll probably get another full trailer before then. I hope they use the theme song. I know, like, I don't know if you've been watching House of the Dragon, but people, there was kind of mixed feelings about how they reused the theme song from the original Game of Thrones for House of the Dragon. It was just so iconic. They just didn't think they could do, something, that could kind of recapture that magic. So they just reused it. I kind of hope they do the same thing with The Last of Us, that when we get to the actual TV series, the opening credits use the original game's theme song. What do you think about that?
I think we will. No, like eventually we'll get a trailer like that. If anything, it'll be fan made. But I do want to say before jumping into this, I had to watch this trailer maybe 2 or 3 times because they put a lot into it. You know what I mean? Which is what you want from a teaser trailer. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the time, I hate trailers that like give you. Movies do this all the time. They give you a trailer and it's like the entire movie in like 2 minutes, and it's like it just ruins it for me. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, I know everything that's gonna happen because I played the game, but it was nice for them to like this is a spoiler-free trailer, and it was a lot of not just like 1 or 2 scenes, like a lot of scenes, like very small little snippets.
Yes,
I will say there was only one scene that made me a little on the fence in terms of production, and it was one of the guards moving the light. It was like it was like a split second, but like the guard's uniform looked very
low
budget. Yeah, low budget. But the thing is, like, that was like I am very over analytical, and I tend to be very like I criticize heavy when it comes to film and TV. And for me to only spot one tiny little thing that bothered me, and then the rest of it was flawless. So I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. A lot of the imagery from the first game, not exact shots, but just kind of, what movies and televisions do when they adopt from comic books or.
That was cool, man.
Yeah, from the comic books, and I'm saying when people do adaptations of comic books, video games, or books or whatever, they kind of recreate it in their own way, and that's kind of what this was, and it was high quality. Big fan of Pedro Pascal. I mean, he's killing it, man. He's doing Mandalorian, and now he's doing this. Obviously with Mandalorian, he doesn't really. I think he's shown his face like once or twice, maybe in that series.
Nicolas Cage a while back.
Yes,
I loved. I thought
yeah, I saw that. Well, it was like it was the unbearable weight of being Nicolas Cage or whatever.
Unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah, massive talent. Yeah,
he just played himself. An exaggerated version of himself. It was so funny. I loved it.
Yes, and then Ellie's being played by Bella Ramsey, who was in Game of Thrones.
Sarah's
So
being played by Nico Parker as well.
yeah,
Shame. Not a lot of screen time for her, 'cause
no.
for obvious reasons.
No. But yeah, speaking of her though, like you see Joel's watch. You do see Sarah a little bit in the trailer. You see Bill, who's played by why am I blanking on his name? Nick Offerman, from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing him play like a serious role. You know what I mean? I'm quite looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think he can pull it off.
Here's the interesting thing about Joel's watch. So they show you Joel's watch, and apparently, they try to like mirror the cracks almost perfectly. Like it's supposed to, like the cracks are supposed to be almost identical to the game, which is like a hell of an attention to detail. And that should tell you a lot about the series moving forward. You know what I mean? For them to have that much attention to detail. Well, then again, they did show it off quite heavily in the trailer to like point out to it. But it's still nice that they have a lot of attention to detail there.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, you have Neil Druckmann, you know, co-producing and I think co-show running this. So obviously he's the guy who created this whole thing. So his insights and what he's willing to change is, you know what I mean? Like it's not like sometimes when you get an IP that like where the original creator is not involved and they just kind of take whatever the original source material and kind of make up their own thing. When you have the kind of original creator involved, like you did for at least the early parts, or probably at least half or most of Game of Thrones, just not towards the end. I think he kind of George R. R. Martin kind of
he stopped
was
caring.
not yeah, well, he had the money rolling in. He had the money rolling in, and also he was writing the book, and the books weren't ready, and they kind of surpassed the books.
At some point in time, he had to help out with Elden Ring too. You know, the man was busy. You know.
Yeah. So, anyways, this it captures the feel and the tone, and everything feels like The Last of Us, which is cool because for people who haven't heard of or haven't played the game, you'll look at this, and the first thing you will think is, oh, it's like The Walking Dead. You know, that's like someone who hasn't watched it, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's not. It's much different because there's the zombies in this game are called clickers. There's kind of in the game and I assume probably in the show, there's not that, especially in the second game, there's not a huge emphasis on the clickers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're kind of these obstacles. Obviously, in the game, that's who you shoot and kill. But
it's like the stealth things and stuff. It involves a lot of stealth and stuff like that. Yeah.
But it's not, not really the main crux of what it is about, and that's why it's so good.
The second game gets more into it. It tends to get very into like the politics of the different groups and stuff. Which it becomes a big, like at the end of the day, like I think like humans are the scariest people in this game, man.
Yeah.
Like that's like by far, and I think the TV show, like towards the end, it's going to show the fact that humans are most probably scarier than the clickers. But while we're on that topic, how good does that clicker look, man?
Yeah.
It looks disgusting, which is good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I think they knew that they had to look good. Like that was the one thing you could not like skip the budget on or anything. Like the clickers, like they had to look good, man. The zombies and stuff, like, and we only saw it for a split second, but it looked good, which is also good. It's a good way to like make something look good whilst spending less money. Instead of being like, here's a whole minute of a clicker. It's like, no, here's just like a few seconds of it that looks really good. I'd rather have a few seconds that looks really good than like a minute where it looks horrible, you know?
Also the whole
your battles.
Also, I don't know for the show, but at least for this trailer, it's like the Jaws thing, right? It's like, oh, you don't really show
unless you see the scarier.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we saw Marlene, the head of Firefly. We saw Riley, who's in the Left Behind DLC. So obviously they're gonna kind of weave
like
that
said,
in.
We got to see Bill. We got to see literally Bill like aiming his gun at Joel, which I quite like. You know what I mean? Ready to fire. I still can't believe it's Nick Offerman, man. Like I'm so used to him doing comedy. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah. We see that one shot of the buildings in Boston. The one like Lena, that's like straight out of the game. It's like in the earlier part of the first game. I remember that.
I also like that they showed like Joel and Sarah's escape, which in my opinion is so pivotal to like grabbing people's attention, because like for anybody that's played The Last of Us, you know that intro grabbed you by the balls, man. It did for me. Like I played that intro, I was like, oh, I guess I can't say any spoilers, but yeah, like something happens and it was just so heavy. It was just, for me at the time, it was a huge twist I was not expecting, and it was heavy, emotional, and I was like, well, now I'm hooked. Now I have to play this game. Like, what the hell's happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they showed that. Like, I know if they open up on that, which I'm assuming they will, that's probably just going to be the first like 10 minutes of episode 1. It's going to be, for people who haven't played the game and have no idea what to expect, that first episode is going to grab them. It's going to hook them in. It's going to do a really good job.
Yeah, I imagine that's going to be the like a 10-minute cold open. You know what I mean? That whole sequence will be a 10-minute cold open.
Man, I'm so excited for that with the car and everything. It's going to be so action-packed, man.
Yeah. But yeah, overall everything looks really good. Like I said, captures the tone. I think the good thing about
there was no bloaters or crawlers, but I do think eventually that there will be, you know.
But like I said, it's not clicker. It's like I always say about Game of Thrones. The dragons are cool, the White Walkers are cool, but they are not the main reason why you watch Game of Thrones. And that's not why you shouldn't watch The Last of Us. The Last of Us is about the people and the relationships and the characters, you know. And yes,
the betrayals, man. Yeah, heavy.
So like that's kind of it's the journey. It's like the clickers are there, and they're cool to have, but they're not the main point of what the series is about. So I'm glad to see it looks like they're going, you know, kind of the same way. And I think this works well because one, it seems pretty authentic to the game, right? And so fans of the game can watch it, and then there'll probably be differences, obviously, from the game. And then people who haven't watched it, like we mentioned in previous like reviews, they're gonna just enjoy it for what it is, and probably will never touch the game in their life, you know, and they'll just think of this as a good show. Yeah.
Just like, or I mean, look, it's also definitely gonna boost the gameplay as well. I mean, if you look at, we'll probably cover it later on in the week, but like some of the guys at Cyberpunk are living life right now. Like their player base is higher than it was at launch,
which is
because
crazy.
Of the anime, which is crazy. Like it's literally their player base is higher now than it was at launch because of the anime. It's insane. So like there are going to be people buying the game like or playing the game more. So we're going to see the numbers go up. I wouldn't be surprised if like when the series comes out, the multiplayer starts popping off again.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of the Last of Us multiplayer.
But I feel like it's more like people who already own it to want to replay it. You know what I mean? Like
back to it,
it's almost like, let's say I watch the full season. Let's say it comes out in 2020. It's coming out in 2023. I'll watch the first season, right? And let's say after it's done, maybe I'll be like, okay, I want to get some more Last of Us fill. Guess what? I haven't played the first game in a while. Let me, you know, get the remastered, remaked version that hopefully at that time will be 50% off, and play that version. And then, you know, get that kick. But that's someone like me who's already played it, you know.
But yeah, for people who haven't,
Yeah, so overall, I think people were impressed. There wasn't much. The only thing that was missing and it's forgivable because it is the first full trailer, is you're not seeing any kind of the dialogue interaction between Joel and Ellie, which is kind of the main thing of the whole franchise.
Of the game, man.
Yes. Yeah. But it's the first one. They just want to give you a glimpse and you know, show you, hey man, this is what it's gonna be like.
You know?
Yeah, it's fine.
It sounds horrible, but I'm kind of glad they didn't, because it's like it's a good teaser trailer. It was a lot of action. It pulled you in. You know what I mean? For people who don't know what the game is about or don't know what the show's about, you're gonna be curious. You're like, oh, what's going on? Yes, it does look a lot like The Walking Dead if you're just like going into
like casual, yes.
But it looks like a really good Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Like it's still gonna pull people in. Yeah, man, I'm really excited for this. I do think, like I said, it's gonna boost the player numbers afterwards. But I have a feeling that this series is gonna end up being more popular than the game eventually. I'm calling it now. Like I think I look, the game is huge and it's very popular. It's not gonna, I don't think this series is gonna make more money than that. I just think that the series is gonna have a much broader appeal to a much broader audience. And I think
well, definitely it's gonna have a broader appeal because I can see like older people who don't play games watching this series.
5 years from now, Dennis, when you talk about The Last of Us, people are gonna assume you're talking about the TV show, not the game. That's
yeah, I mean, thinking. Game of Thrones, people talk about that instead of the books, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, all right, I think that's it for this kind of reaction and review for The Last of Us, the first full trailer coming on HBO. Looks good. Can't wait. Can't wait to get the release date. You know, it's 2023.
Correct. Yeah.
My guess it's first half of 2023.
I reckon so. Yeah. I reckon March at the latest, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm thinking around then. And
hey, let us know in the comments section below if you guys would like us to do an after show or anything like that, where possibly we do like
reviews,
a review per episode or review per season. Just let us know if you guys would.
Yeah, we tried to do that with Halo, but that didn't work because Halo was.
I fell off, man. I got bored of that.
Yeah,
it was not good.
Yeah. So they are doing season 2 though.
Yeah, look, this deserves an after show, like at least like episode by episode after show. If once again, only if you guys listening are interested in that, let us know, and we'll see if we can do that when the show comes out.
Yeah, people forget Game of Thrones originally, when it debuted the first season, it was towards the end of January, early February. I can't remember the exact date, but it was around that time when it came out. You know, so I foresee they're gonna kind of try and hit that window because remember things kind of are a little on a lull in terms of entertainment at that point. So it's just after the holidays.
Also, just judging from the trailer, like I understand that most people don't film chronologically. You shoot as according to your budget. You know what I mean? You're gonna shoot everything at one location. You're gonna shoot it all there, even if it's like episode 20 and episode 9. You know what I mean? So I understand it's not chronological, but the teaser trailer does seem like, for the most part, it's like it's close to being finished. You know, if anything, I think they must be wrapped by now, and they're just in post production.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. You can follow me on Twitter @ThinkHero, Instagram Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast. We have a weekly games podcast every week that's on this YouTube channel and on Spotify and Anchor.fm. We also have a Discord. You can check that out. We have a link below. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me in the Discord server. I'm always there talking. If you guys want to talk video games, anything like that, or PC stuff, I'm there to talk, man. Also, you guys can follow me on Twitch at It's Thespis, all lowercase. Should be a link in the description. Yeah, once I get to 100 followers, I will be regularly streaming on there.
Cool. All right. Until next time, see you guys later.
Later.